It's the grind. It's the grind. It's the grind. It's the grind.
I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
Jimmy Rohn, what a great man, entrepreneur. You're not going to get out alive. Yeah, well, he's 100% right. Doesn't matter how many losers you back, how many winners you back, how much cash you end up with or don't end up with. We all end up in exactly the same spot. What a sobering thought that is. Let's get into it. Jim Rohn, John, if you want to look him up. Some really interesting investment and life advice from Jimmy. Now, on your screen, we've got November results, which are looking good. Golden bullets, good roughies, and backs. So we put it together in November, and we've had a good result. This is the best month we've had. 284 bets for 82 winners, and our ROI of 17.6% at high price. Results are starting to come good. I'm in a good spot mentally. And feel strong, feel like I've got a handle on things, and that's what happens when you start winning. You start to get more confident, not overconfident though. Of course, the work continues. Talking about the work, so this is the last video for the grind series 1 of the grind. This will be the last episode. I'll take a break till autumn. Come back, do max bet in the grind again, episode 2. In the meantime, I'm going to do some big races. So I'll do a preview for the Japan Cup, which jumps on November 30, Sunday, November 30. So I'll do that next week. I'm also going to preview the big Hong Kong international meeting, all the big races from there. I think that's about December 14 from memory. So I'll do that in the week before. And also what else I'm doing is, so the reason I'm taking a break from doing a lot of content is so I can focus on the form. I want to get Hong Kong up, which I'm hoping in a couple of weeks. Hong Kong will be live on the TKZ site Sundays and Wednesdays. So that'll just be the same as a day pass. So if your package includes a Wednesday, you will get Hong Kong included in that. If your subscription includes Sundays, you'll get included in that. If you want to buy a day pass on Wednesday, for instance, you'll get all the Australian racing and Hong Kong $50. So it's thrown in if you have access on that day. The other thing which I'm working on is obviously this screen here too. I want to really try and get that to you guys. I've been struggling a bit in terms of the load that it's going to take because I don't want to put it out there and then it starts breaking. So it's a load of data and also getting it into a into a way that's presented properly so that you guys can get the most out of it. It's looking like that'll be next year, I'd say. It's definitely happening, but I just need to put some more time into it. I was going to say time and effort, but it's not an effort thing. It's more of a time thing of just sitting down and getting it right where it works. It's working properly. So what I want to do today. So that's what I'm going to do while I'm taking a break. I'm still working through, still putting a lot of time into the form, which I'm putting out, and also getting the product better. What else today? I want to go top to bottom since we started June 12th to 16th, which is Sunday, the 16th of November. I've got these other metrics put in here, these other price metrics, which is why I'm doing this on a Tuesday, not a Monday, because I was getting all this in yesterday. So I've got best tote with SP. I've got the opening price. I've got the Betfair SP. I've got the final price and I've got the high price. So what I want to do is go top to tail and have a look at these set and forget options and see if there's any value in actually doing them, or exactly where we are after this period from June 12th to November 16th. Then after that, I want to go through I just want to go through this screen, which I've pre gone through and had a look. So I've come up with 10 factors, all over 10%. So top 10 factors that are returning a high dividend of 10% or more. Which I think if there's too many bets there on the official tips, or you want something else that's yielding a bigger ROI, then I'm going to show you what has produced that in the first period, which is what are we at? That's what November we've got up there now, but we're going to go from June 12th. So we're going to go 5 to 11. There's 6 months worth of data there now that we can harvest and build up that database, so we really get a decent sample size. So the results aren't jumping around as much as what they were when we first started to do this. So let's have a look where we're at and talk about where we are going. So June 12th to November 16th, official tips. So I'm going to clear that, and I'm going to just quickly have a look at where we're at with the high price. What I want to do first is just have a look at the different pricing methods. So that's 7% at high price, 7% profit at high price. What I want to do now is just get rid of this. So I've got rid of everything. I'm just going to run everything to show you the percentages. Just a little lesson in odds taking, I suppose, or how to place bets with no form at all. So pretend you're not pretend that TKZ doesn't exist. You're just sitting there on your own in the lounge room. Packet of cheese, chicken twisties on one side, a beer on the other, and you're having a punt on a Sunday afternoon. So high price is a price you can't get. What high price is the average of the highest price from the top, say, the top handful of bookies. It's like a top fluctuation, if you will, but it's from, say, about 9:30 a.m. So minus 4%. So that's off my staking plan to win $200 with a maximum bet of $100. So that is to win. Sorry, that is minus 5%. So even if you got the top price, let's say, or the average of the top price, let's just call it top price. Even if you got the top price from your bookie from 10 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. and staked at that off your own picks or pulling them out of a hat, you would lose at 5%. That is why the market is so tough nowadays, because that you're betting into 105 at the top price with the bookies, whereas you used to be betting into under 100 mostly if you're out at the track and you were shopping out wide with the bookies out the back and so forth. You were down to 90% a lot of races. What a time to be alive. What a time it was, but the times have changed now, and a lot of bookies, they don't all bet the same price. There are bookies out in the market that do take an opinion, so you can shop around and you can beat that minus 5%, but it's not like it's certainly not like it used to be, and that's why things are a bit harder. So minus 5% there. Final live price minus 15%. That's only increasing as SPs start to get a bit bigger with taxes. So minus 15% at final live price. So if you're sitting at home with your chicken twisties, I wouldn't be taking ever final live price. If you're a punter who's sitting there where all the horses are moving into the barriers, you shouldn't ever be taking final live price. You should be finding a bookie who bets best tote with SP. So I'm just run that again, but best tote with SP if you take that. So you're getting the SP, which is the final live price virtually, and you're getting the best of three totes guarantee. So you're getting a -7 there as opposed to 15. So you're getting, say, 7.5% better, double the return by simply putting your bets on at best tote with SP. BSP is Betfair. Betfair is an exchange. Now, this is an exchange you can bet, and you can place the bets at any time. So you're betting against other punters. You'll see there that the ROI is virtually zero. Now, Betfair do take a commission out from anywhere between, say, I don't know, 3.5 to 4% up to, I believe, 10%. depending on how much you've turned over. So if I was to take out 6% there, that would say minus 6%. The difference between the Betfair SP and the high price is the Betfair SP is a very accurate price. It's at the end when all the smart money's gone in and all the pros are bet and everyone who wants to do anything's put their money on, and the punters have shaped the market into a very, very efficient market. The Betfair SP, I have no doubt, is the most efficient price available in the market. And when I have a look at my official tips, you'll see why. Opening price. Now, this apart from the tab opening prices, which go up, or just say for a Saturday race, they'll go up on Wednesday. This opening price is the TKZ opening price, which goes out at 9:30 or 10 a.m., depending on when it's released. So let's have a look at the opening price. Minus 18%, but that's a much more inefficient market than the Betfair SP. While that minus 18% is higher, there are mistakes in that minus 18%, whereas the mistakes in the Betfair SP and to a lesser degree the tote, because the tote pools are quite small nowadays, so you can get inefficiencies. The opening price, you will find more holes, and the further you go back, the original tab opening price is probably a lot more, well, it is a lot more inefficient than the 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. on race day opening price. But once again, that's what you're dealing with when you're betting early. You're dealing into these 118, 120, well, probably 120% markets. So you got to beat 20%, and it's hard to beat 20%. Out on track, it was always 110 you were betting into, plus the outer 108, 106. So you were betting into less percent, but as you can see, you can choose if you want. Everyone says, oh, you can't get on. Well, you can get on. You can get on Betfair SP, or Betfair with volume at the end, but the market's accurate. So everyone nowadays wants to get on when the market's not accurate, which is smart, but it's hard because the bookies play smart too, and they limit your bets early. So that's why it's very hard to win at volume punting now, because the times you can get on for bigger money are the times when the market is at its most accurate. So it's a catch-22 in a way. One is to bet early and bet into more percentage, and bet at lower volume, but win a higher ROI. Or two is to bet late, bet bigger, bet into less percentage, and have a lesser ROI. And we're going to have a look at my results in a sec against those two measures. And it's a real balancing act. But let's have a look at best tote there at the end as well, minus 7.3. Not a bad option at all if you're going out for the day, or you're betting late there as well. Not a bad option, because the thing about best tote with SP, if you're betting right at the end, is you get to see all the fluctuations. So you can see if the horse is fancied, or whether it's blown, or whether the favourite's out the gate, how they're paraded in the ring. So you can feel at these two, Betfair SP and Best Tote, you can play them off against each other as well. So if you got the best of the best of the Betfair SP and the Best Tote, which is a product that no one offers, but if you just sort of sat there and matched them up and predicted and picked one of those two, that's not a bad option either. If you like to be filled with a lot of market information at the end. Let's go and have a look at my results. Then we'll get into the top 10 at over 10%. So 12th of the 6th to the 16th, which was Sunday. Yesterday's results haven't gone in yet. So let's have a look. We're back 3 seconds, actually. We had 3 bets yesterday. It was Nowra. There's only one meeting on, and all 3 of them ran second. So I'm hoping that my luck hasn't turned. I don't think it has, but I'm hoping that we don't have one of those nasty little runs again. Righto, let's get into this, have a look. So bullets, good roughies, and I'll just go one by one and have a quick look for you first, because what I want to do here is wrap this whole period of 6 months up, so that all questions are answered, and I am always completely transparent and always ask questions. If you need to contact me ever, do it through the support at the King Zone is the best way. And always ask questions. Always happy to answer any questions that you have that are punting related. So let's have a look at the golden bullets. So golden bullets for the 6 months, 352 for 108 winners at high price, 2.5%. Remembering high price was about -5, so we're beating that by about 2%. That's disappointing. There's no two ways to look at that with the golden bullets. 2% is disappointing. I would expect that to be 12. Backs. Let's have a look at the backs. They've been doing better lately, but they were awful early, the golden bullets. So I'm hoping they come good. Smaller sample sizes, so you will get bigger variance in the bullets. 1,500 backs plus 8.5. That's a good result for backs for mine. I was hoping bullets would be about 12 to 14. Backs would be about 8 to 10, and good roughies about 8 to 10 as well. So on track with the backs, 1,500, 8.5%. Good roughies. Good roughies were killing it before, and they've come back a bit, I think. The good roughies, 432 bets, 31 winners, 7.7 ROI at high price. So let's put them all together and then go and have a look through the other options. So I'm ticking the 3 here. I'm clearing that, not that there was anything in there anyway. I'm running this at high price to have a look how we have gone. So 2,365 bets over the 6-month period, 541 winners. An ROI at high price of plus 7.15%. So we're beating the market by 12%. Hoping that was 10, to be honest with you. I'm not hoping. I was expecting that to be 10. We had that bad period in the winter through July, August, which really brought us back. But if I had to predict what that would be over the next 6 months, my answer would be 10. Wish I knew, because if it was 0, I'd go on holidays for 6 months. Righto. Next one is, and if it was 20, I'd bet bigger. Don't know how, but I'll try and have a crack somewhere. Final live price, which you should never really take final live price unless you're getting quite a bit over it. If there's one bookie out on his own, snap him up at final live price, minus 8.6%. So you can see the difference between getting the top price at 7% and taking what used to be called an SP, which is minus 8.6%. Betfair SP. Now, this is a really interesting one. And Betfair SP is showing 0. So there's no advantage on these bets betting on Betfair at the end. And the reason why that is, so Betfair, you're betting into a 0 market there, and we're not even beating that 0 market, which is surprising. I've got to say, I thought we'd beat it by sort of 3 or 4%. I didn't think we'd beat it by 8 or 10%, even though we're beating. So this high price is 105%, and we're beating it by 7%. The final live price is 116%, and we're losing by 8, so we're still beating it by 8. The Betfair with no commission is 100%, no advantage to anyone because it's an exchange prior to commission, obviously, and we're not beating it. Why aren't we beating it? We're not beating it because it's such an accurate market. So, as I said, the punters frame this market. It's extremely accurate, but it only gets accurate at the end. It gets accurate when all the horses in the barriers. So if you look at it at 10 minutes out, 5 minutes out, even 1 minute out, it will have a lot of fluctuations in it, like the high price. It'll have a lot of flux. So I'm not saying you can't beat Betfair. What I am saying is Betfair SP is quite hard to beat because it's got all the intelligence in it. So you might see a horse that firms from $5 into $4.40. You can get $6 on Betfair with 8 minutes to go. Yeah, bang. That looks like a good price to me. I'm watching the flux. I got on at $6. I'm happy. Maybe it starts 7 Betfair SP. Probably not. Maybe it starts 4.40 Betfair SP. Who knows? But the point is, it's a fluctuating market too. It's not just that Betfair SP isn't a fluctuating market, but Betfair itself is a very live, dynamic, and a fantastic place to bet if you're in tune with the fluctuations. Let's move on to opening price, which is really interesting one as well, because The opening price, as we saw, was about, well, they're putting up 125% now, but if you bet off my staking plan, you're having more sort of on the pointier end of the market, the favourites. So that gets it down to 118 or a loss of 18%, I think it was. But in reality, the percentage on the board of the bookies is around 125. We are beating that by 1.8%. So we're beating the opening price by 27%. Still not making a huge profit if you're just taking, well, that's sort of the average of those prices, but you're beating by 27%, and that's what I was coming back to before. There are more inefficiencies early in the market. The trouble is that everybody, all the professional punters know that, and it's before this market, like the day before that, a lot of professionals have already bet, and they're happy to bet small. They're happy to knock the market off, and you'll see the fluctuations with the tab go crunch. And the bookies are moving them in a long way. So yes, there are still holes there. They're not as many, but to be beating that opening price by winning 1.8, and if you backed all the bets, then it's not a bad result because you're not backing them all then either. If a horse has gone from $6 into $3.50, I wouldn't be on those ones so much. If a horse has firmed a little bit, $5 into 480, 460, and you can see one bookie out there at 550 or 5 still, then that's okay. The stronger bets are obviously a bit better early, but it's a real juggling act because, and I deal with this myself because I don't know whether a lot of the time I don't know whether to put my bet on early. If I missed a price, is it going to keep firming? Blah 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 blah. At some point, you just got to make a call, have a go, and either dive in or decide to wait till the end, or put some on Betfair if the price drifts out. So it's really a personal choice. I don't have all the answers about when to bet. I can only feed you with the information, and leave it up to you to use this information in conjunction with your own a lot of the time as well, which is a fantastic way to use it. Best tote with SP. Best tote with SP is losing 1.5%. Same number of bets, etc. Another pretty accurate form of betting, as in odds. What I will say about best tote with SP, the smaller the meeting, the better it is to bet best tote with SP if you can get it. I personally can't get best tote with SP anywhere. But if you can, the country meetings are very good to bet on the country meetings because the pools are very small and there's manipulation occurs when one tote can kick out because there's only 3, 4, 5,000 in a lot of these Queensland pools, and you'll see Victorian tote kick out a lot and pay bigger sometimes as well. It's a lot harder to do that. It's a lot harder to get discrepancies on the metro racing. So on the metro racing, either options like Betfair or Top Fluck if you're not betting early, or Top Fluck if your bookie bets it. Best of the best used to be around, which is a great option as well. Don't think anyone bets it anymore because of the taxes have destroyed that. But Top Fluck in the market up to $5 is a great option. And Betfair, I find on a Saturday Metro, if I haven't put the bets on early, I'm using Betfair a lot more on the Saturdays. Righto, that's about it. For that, so those are the three. Those are the I wouldn't call final price a live option. High price if you shop around. High price is really about getting the top price from multiple bookies for everyone out there. Betfair SP we've talked about, the opening price we've talked about, obviously, and best tote with SP is a great option there as well. If you aren't on and the race is coming up, I'd compare Betfair and compare the best of 3 totes through that dynamic odd screen or any other screen that you've got up that you can do that with. Righto, let's stay in this date range of the 12th of June when we launched to the 16th and go through 10 systems that have worked really well and generated a 10% plus profit. And these are systems that make sense to me. I'm not just picking anything out. These are systems that make a lot of sense, and anything that goes into my model, which is another reason why I need to take a break from doing these couple of shows a week. So I've got a bit more time, and I'm working on a few new algorithms which I need to test to really get in. The main ones I'm working on are the cam, the cruising, the acceleration, the CSW. I'm not really happy with those results. I don't feel like they're adding a lot into the model, so I want to work on them, and I want to work on them from a predictive point of view, not so much in the using past information to predict, but just in predicting improvement, which I think is a great way to get an edge over the market. Anyway, let's get into this. So I've written these down. I've tested them, so I know that they are, barring any internal errors, going to come back at 10% plus. So let's have a look. The first one is the official tips. So the official tips, all this information that I'm going to go through now is available on TKZ each day. So here's the golden bullet here. All this information is available. The race analysis, the class speed weight rating, the cruising metrics, and down here, the form factors, the bullet price, the TKZ open price, the high price, which we've talked about. So this bullet here with all these beautiful form factors are available each day on the site, along with the jockey edge, the race strength, the cam, the bullet price, and also the live price and high price. So let's get in and have a look at this one. So the official tips. Now, if I'm going to add in, I'm going to add in a cruising rank of 1 to 2. So these are horses cruising rank that would generally sit on pace or may sit off pace, but have been coming out of higher early speed races. I'm going to run these at high price. Remembering high price was at -5% at the end. So 13.5%. So that's only two things there. That's the official tips with a cruising rank of 1 or 2. So the cruising rank's really marrying in to the tips really well. So it's finding horses that are on pace are doing better with those official tips. So 13.5%, 11.29 for 305 bets. I wanted to add in two things here that make sense. That makes sense when you're talking about a cruising rank. So an on-pace horse. So horses on pace would generally do better off very slow or slow tempos, and also in sprint races, 800 to 1,200 meters, which makes sense because the shorter races, on-pace horses tend to dominate the shorter the race. On slow, on-speed races, this scenario doesn't happen that often. 88 bets, 36 winners. But you can see there an ROI of 31%. So that is something that really does make a lot of sense. So that's the first one. The second one, we're going to clear this now. We're going to stick with the official tips. So I wanted to see where the sweet spot was in the odds range. So I'm going to run off the high price, just the high price odds range. And the sweet spot is between $3.50 and $15 at the moment, which makes a lot of sense to me. As you get down into that under sort of odds on or $2.50 below range, there's not nearly as much value as what there used to be in the market. And a lot of those horses have been backed early and smashed in the market come day of the race. It's not like you lose in there. I'll go and have a look actually and see how you go in that range. So that's that. So this is plus 8.8, plus 8.8% for $3.50 to $15 at official tips. When I ran that before, it was coming back at just over 10%. So there's probably some new data that's gone in there that's just brought it down from the last few days. So we're going from the 12th to the 16th. Let me go and have a look at let me just go and have a look at the favourites just out of interest here. $1.10 to $3.40 at high price. And see if you actually win backing these. Yeah, you win 1.4. So there's only 344. I really would expect that to increase, but you can see that there's been no value in that pointy end of the range. even though you're backing more winners with a strike rate of 43%, the profit isn't there. And that's why I put that cap on the max bet as well. So the max bet that I bet off is to win 200. Obviously, I bet bigger than that, but the ratio is the same. To win 200 with a max bet of 100, I put the max bet at 50%. So if I find a horse at $1.50, I didn't used to do this. I used to really chip up and bet bigger on those odds-on chances, but the value just isn't there anymore. It's not like you don't win on them, but the value isn't there like it used to be. So I have the same on a $3 chance virtually as what I have on a $1.50 chance. So I'm not blowing out if I get a twos on chance beat. So I'm going to reset that. So that was number 2. Number 3, official tip once again with runs from spell, which I've just added in here. Runs from spell 0. So first uppers, and I was really pleased by this result because I put a heap of work into getting these first up bets right and incorporating the trial information, incorporating the horses' previous first up runs into the model data wise and also eye wise by watching the trials. I obviously don't sit there and watch all the trials myself, but using that data to to include or exclude bets that the model may have found. So there's been 538. So quite a lot of horses that I'm finding are first up. So the result there is pretty good. 15% profit on turnover for first up horses, which I've never made that sort of money out of first up horses. I'd expect that to come down a bit. I'd be surprised if that remained 15, but I do expect it to be over 10. So if it came back a bit, it wouldn't surprise me. But at the moment, it's showing that extra work that I've been doing has been paying dividends. Next, so those are the official tips. Now we're just going to go to one here which has a low sample size, but it's quite interesting. So I'm going to clear that, and I'm going to clear everything. And what I'm going to go down to is the form factor here of Class Edge with a race strength over 95. So we'll go here and we'll tick Class Edge, and we'll go to race strength. So race strength over 95. So race strength over 95 are pretty much listed or group races. So I've been putting a lot of extra work into these bigger races. I've got to do the Saturday set, obviously, plus I put work into the higher end of the market and 166 bets. And that is another area where I've struggled because I find the markets are a bit more accurate. So I'm really pleased with this result as well. Only 166 bets, 12% profit, but I've turned those two things around by putting extra work into them. The first runs from first starters as well, which I don't have in here. I've got to put starts in there, but first starters, runs, first uppers, and group races or higher end races. So that's a pleasing result as well. Now let's clear that, and we'll go to the number 1 selection, which we didn't actually look at, and I meant to do that before. So let's just have a look. So I've cleared everything. What I want to have a quick look at here is, I'm just going to hide that for 1 sec. I'm going to go number 1 selection because I just want to get everyone up to date with it, where everything's at. Number 1 selection plus 5.8%. 7,150 bets, so 1 bet every race. I want to show you number 2 selection as well, because a lot of people are trying to develop systems within the system. Number 2 selection minus 4.6, so there's no value there. It's virtually the same as what the market is. Number 3 selection minus 4.3, so it's about the same. And number 4 selection in the race is -9. So you can see number 4 really falls away. So all the values coming out of that top selection, and with extra percentage in the market, it's very hard now to have as many multiple bets. If you're backing 3 or 4 a race, it's a lot harder, unless you're extremely skillful, than what it used to be, especially if you're betting at the end there. So I used to with the lower percentage, the more horses I back, the high percentage, the less horses I back. So let's have a look at the lays as well while we are talking about this. So the lays -13 at high price. So the backs were +5, the lays -13. So say an 18, backs were +7, sorry, +7 against -13. 20% difference between the horses that I like and the horses that I don't like. I'm going to show you this on Betfair SP as well. Only -3. So that's really interesting. And I was going to do this last week actually, and I didn't have the Betfair SP in. But high price -13. So that's the highest price, let's call it, that the corporate bookies bet for these horses from 10 a.m. So it's a pretty, it's a pretty good price that. And Betfair SP without any commission, if you back those horses, you're losing less, 3%. So 10% better. What that means is that a lot of those horses that I don't like, number one, they drift. And number two, they are better prices on Betfair a lot of the time. So that information in itself is very valuable when predicting fluctuations. Even if you think my form's shit and he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, 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 blah. That's proof that if you only want to go off your form, good as gold, but it's still about predicting fluctuations, and sometimes incorporating other information can help you do that as well. If you are just working off my stuff, it's really good to find races where there are 1, 2, 3 lays in, especially in the market, because you think they're going to drift. And if you look at that market, which I do as well, I think you see a favourite at $2.50, it might be a lay. I've got it priced $4. You think, shit, that horse is going to drift. Okay, well, if that horse is going to drift to $3.50, something's probably got a firm. Is it the horse that I want to back? Yeah, well, it's more likely to be. It's more likely to be a firmer. Whereas if it's I've got a back in the race or a bet in the race, but the favourite's sort of half close. The second favourite's half close. Not really taking a set against them. Chances are probably wait on that, and the price will drift, and you'll back it closer to jump time. So that was the lays. I meant to do that at the start. So let's get back to what we're talking about, which is the top 10 over 10. So number one selection, I'm going to go back to high price. I'm going to go back to advanced filters, and I'm going to go back to horses that are trained at the track. So if I run horses that are trained at the track with number one selection, 1,074 bets, and it goes up to 15%. So home ground advantage is working very well with number one selection. Home ground advantage by itself, let's have a look. It is not bad, but it's certainly not that. So it's -2.2. If you just back all horses that are trained at the track, 9,500 bets -2.2. If you throw the number one selection in there, it goes up to 15. So what I really believe in now is finding reasons for horses to improve. So finding horses that are very much suited. Maybe it's a gear change. Maybe it's a horse on the backup. Maybe it's a horse that's going to get the race run to suit. Maybe it's a horse that for some reason cardiac arrhythmia or whatever it may be last time. Why is this horse going to improve? Is it something that the ratings or the numbers have overlooked? And if it is, can it go to that next level? A horse like Beast Mode, which the result was wrong, I was still very happy with that bet, even though it was coming off a peak rating. I'm not saying that the rating was going to increase, but it could decrease. That rating could decrease 2-3 lengths, and Beast Mode would have still won. Beast Mode decreased more than 2 or 3 lengths off that run because it didn't get the 1,100. But I thought Beast Mode would get the 1,100. Why? Because the main reason was, apart from its superior ratings, which weren't really the reason, it was part of the reason, but the other reason was the blinkers. The blinkers going on, and I thought that it had taken Beast Mode to a new level, and Beast Mode would get the 1,100. I was aware that it was a risk, but that's why we're getting $3 and not taking $2. The horse didn't win, but my point is that I thought that the blinkers would. So I isolated those last 2 runs for beast mode and didn't look too much further back. Was I wrong in the end? Yes, I was wrong. But you're not going to get every one right. Was I right the week before with the horse that was 420 that I can't remember its name in Brizzy into $2.50? Yes. So it all comes down to finding horses reasons to improve and digging deep to find them. So that is the explanation for me for why that one's a good one. Horses train on the track, feel a bit more comfortable. Footy teams on their home ground perform better than when they play away as well. So the next one, number 6, that I want to talk about is in the same family. What I was talking about before with the last one. So the number 1 selection and a reason for it to kick up. So excuses last start, which is another reason why that rating number may not be as high as what it should be. So 65 bets only, not a big sample size, admittedly, but 52%. But I just wanted to show that one to you as a reason why a top selection might improve rather than regress. So let's stay with that again and go to number 7. I'll get rid of excuses. And another reason why a horse might improve is because it's backing up or racing close to its last run, be nice and fit, and go to another improver length and get the chocks. So let's have a look at that. High price, number 1 selection, 473 bets, 13% ROI for that one as well. So there's 7. Now let's have a look. This is one that just married up, which is just a ratings with a backing up as well. So I'm going to get rid of top selection there and go and have a look at the cruising acceleration metric, or CAM. Ranks, what do you got? Rank 1? Rank 1 for CAM with the horse backing up. Rank 1 for CAM. So it's got that nice acceleration, good cruising combination of both, and a reason for it to improve, which is the day since last run, 1 to 7. 9.45. That one's come back just a touch off the last 3 meetings as well. It was over 10 before and just come back a touch, but still a good return there, and shows that marrying on things that make sense, improvements with real numbers, equate to increased profit. So I'm going to get rid of, I'll just reset that. And what are we working with up here again? We're going to have a look, go back to number 1 selection again, and we're going to have a look at a bit of good value in early betting. Now, good value in early betting would come from when the bullet price is shorter than the open price. So 190 against 230, you can see it down here, good value in early betting down in the factors. The other one, which I didn't show you, I don't think, which I wanted to, was the race strength number, which is up the top. So we looked at that factor, which had 95. That's a 64. A 64 at Scone. So Scone race 3 is a 74. Scone race 4 is a 71. 65. So let's just have a look. So if we go to today's races here, and I want to show you this as well in case you don't know, this is how you go back and check the last 2 weeks of form. If you want to go back and check, you go to today's races, then you scroll down here, you go to select date, and let's go and have a look at Saturday, the 15th, and all these meetings will pop up. So there's 2 weeks. You can go back and check everything out. Whether you're a paid member or you're not paying a cent and you just want to go and check out the form and see what I found and what I didn't find. So let's just have a look at this high-end race, 95, which I mentioned. So that's a Group 1 C4 Stakes. Had a rating of 95, which I was wrong this race, was on Vinrock and actually had a little something on Evaporate as well, but did my money. I didn't lay Jimmy Star was out to $2 on Betfair and Bookies only 180. If I could have laid Jimmy at about 180, I would have, but I didn't. So that's the 95 there. In Karuna, 86 race, and so on. You can navigate between these. and have a look. What was the big race in Sydney? Let's just have a quick look at that at Newcastle. I mean, which Coal Crusher was a lay as well. So we got both those big races wrong on Saturday, but 96 as well there. 96 green spaces were on 82. So you can go back and have a look and go through all these and pick them apart, see where I was right, see where I was wrong, see two lays in the race there, and verify bet as well. Anyway, I'll get back out of there and get back over here. I just wanted to show you that race strength and also show you can go back and have a look at the last 2 weeks. But I was talking about good value in early betting, which the reason I went there was to show you where it lay in the factors. So number one selection with good value in early betting. I'm going to tick that. I'm going to run this. I'm going to have a look. So number one selection, good value in early betting, plus 10% at high price. Let's have a look just out of interest at best tote for this as well. 3.7% best tote, 3,122 bets, which is great as well. Let's have a look at open price just out of interest as well. 2%. So 2% best tote, 3 point something percent. High price, 10 point something percent. That's where I need to get that on my bets, or the official tips up to 10%, which I'm sitting in the 7s at the moment. Let's go. Let's get that up there. Righto, number 10. Number 10, we're going to stick with good value in early betting. So I'm going to get rid of my number one selection, and I'm just going to put in, which I found married up really well with good value in early betting, was ideal distance. So horses that are racing ratings-wise at their ideal distance where they have performed the best numbers. 1761 bets, 11% on turnover. Let's see if that stays consistent. Yeah, 4% tote. So that is your top 10, over 10 with a couple of little in the 9s because of adjustments. But that's where it's at. So what I have really enjoyed is going through this screen every Monday and filling everybody up with as much information to try and help their punting as possible. I love doing that. I love it also when you disagree with things that I've got to say, and I love it even more when you're constructive and ask questions. So always ask questions if there's something you don't understand. Always ask, because I'm more than happy to help. So that's it for the first season of The Grind. I'll be back on next week with a little Japan Cup preview. I'll also probably jump in at the end of November and at the end of December or whenever to just give you an update on the figures and tell you where I'm at. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week for the Japan Cup. Stay in the game, stay in the zone, and enjoy your punting.
Think, is this a bet you really want to place? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.